Hey guys, it's me, Kitty, and today we're on our way to Melbourne. It was quite cold. This was in the early start part of May, so it wasn't too cold. Oh look, there's a big scoot jumbo jet. Not a jumbo jet, just a very big plane. There's the inside of the plane. It was super busy, and my seat was quite squishy. Also, I'd had a bit of an accident at work. I'm a klutz. I managed to smack a crate into my leg, so that was very unpleasant, and I squirmed for the whole duration of the trip down there. Yes, that is the Tweed Inlet, I believe. Yep, I'm not exactly sure what that area is called. There's the Tweed River. That's quite a floodplain down there. Every time we get rain, that floods. And it got some pictures of clouds. I love flying through the clouds. As you probably can figure out if you've seen any pictures or videos of me in an airplane, if there's clouds, it's clouds, 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 clouds. We got above the clouds, and I can't quite tell from that angle there if we're under the clouds or there's no clouds. I took that picture because I thought it was really interesting. I do like taking geography pictures from the air. I also like taking pictures of the little bit of frost on the glass. More clouds. If you hear any noise, I think we're in Victoria or southern New South Wales. If you hear any noise, that's just my pet budgies chattering away in the background having a field day. Hey, I think that's Victoria. I think that's Victoria right there. More clouds, and we were banking. It's like being on a roller coaster. Melbourne, finally. And we are, I'm guessing, down on the ground? Yes, down on the ground. Oh, look, there's a big A380. Or as I like to call them, a beluga, because they look like a beluga whale. Melbourne, I was so happy. My first holiday since 2019. Though we caught the double-decker sky bus down to Melbourne. If you get a return ticket, it works out to about $34 per person by online. It's about 30 minutes to get to them one way to the airport. Melbourne City, or approaching it. I cannot remember how many photos I took of trying to drive to Melbourne City. It was a lot. And that was quite an interesting sculpture over the road. More city views you can't really see much of. They're just some red sheds. There's a good view. Another good view, you can see the bus and my duffel bag, or a bit of it. And we finally saw the trees. We'd missed the bright red colours. I think we are out of the station. And there's one of those delightful, old, creepy, big buildings that I love so much about Melbourne. Southern Cross is really nice. It's so posh. Love it. And there's Doctor Strange in the new Marvel movie. As South Bank, we had a bit of a walk along there. It was actually not cold. There's Eureka Building. We didn't go up there, spoiler alert. It wasn't cold. It wasn't hot. It was okay. It was humid, but you don't think cold and humidity mix together, but they do, and it's not exactly pleasant. That's a music area, Maya Bowl or something like that. That's the Block Arcade. Really liked that place. Love those mosaics, they're gorgeous. That's called Chunky Dog, I think. I've always wanted a Korean style hot dog. I got one covered half mozzarella, half sausage, covered in sweet potatoes. Yes, it was delicious. Yes, the cheese is stretchy. And yes, I'm very pleased with myself. The mustard was actually really sweet. And that was one of the Chinatown gates. We went to a small pub called Charles Dickens. Was it? Yeah, it was Charles Dickens. Really nice. You have to wait a little bit for your food, but I promise you, it's well worth the wait. The steak was so tender. Oh my god, it was so nice, and it looks like a classic English pub. It's just, oh, it's fantastic. A little bit pricey, but you know, it's not bad. And it's down in the basement, so you don't get cell service down there. Just a warning. And it was late at night. Wasn't too cold. And there's one of those eerie buildings again. Do love them. And that was a block arcade. It was shut. More of the block arcade. And that was Burke Street. We went for a walk and had a bit of a look around. As you can see, that's a sculpture of a purse, the ground, and I'm sitting on it. Yes, I actually wore my puffer jacket down there. It was actually worth the $150 that I purchased it. It was worth $150, I mean to say. And those lights, as you can see, they do flash and twinkle. I was H&M, that's in a not brand new, old building. I thought that shot was artsy. That looks like the French flag. The next day, it's Flinders Street Station. I thought that was a cute display of food. It's not real, I know that. That's another arcade. I thought that was a funny picture of a stormtrooper. And there was a cute little sparrow on the floor. It was so cute. It's got like little wings and it's fluffies. It's got its winter fluffies on. More Flinders. It was freezing cold, by the way. It was so cold. The kind of cold that you feel in your belly. It's like ice in your belly cold. I mean, like, so cold we didn't think to stop for a coffee, and we had a cold juice, and that made it a bit worse. That's the Yarra River. And yes, there's the East Brighton. If any of you have seen Jimmy Reese's gags where he says ladies from Brighton, you know what I mean. And there's the me with that pointy spire. A couple of ducks, they gave me a bit of attitude, those two. And there's some sort of display on the side, on the middle of the road. Birds. Like, you know, pictures of birds and they look like they're walking. It's funny. There were some buns. We stopped for coffee at that place. And all the food was like different colours. It was in the arts area, so it's artsy. That's a floral actual working clock, and I assume when it's warm, it's, really nice. And there were some more trees. Close up of a tree. Another view of the trees. You'll see a lot of trees. I do like taking pictures of trees. They're something I thoroughly enjoy taking pictures of, so you'll see a lot of them. A fountain, that's another thing I like. And more, oh yes, leaves on the ground. Another tree. There was actually some really lovely trees there with lots of colours. I nearly cried, it was so pretty. And it was cold. Did I mention it was cold? It was freezing. But the tree colours, we actually got to see some lovely tree colours. There you are. Lovely autumn leaves. A close-up. I took all these pictures on my phone, you know that. My phone's quite good. That's why I splurged on so much for my phone. It takes quite good pictures. That's one of the King George memorials. Took quite a few photos of that. There's a unicorn, or is it a lion? One of the, I can't remember what they're called. The symbols of the royal families, and they've got a really funny look on their face. I think it's a unicorn. That's two trees, one in front of the other. Surprising, isn't it? You wouldn't think it, but it is. Yeah, there's a solemn lion with the crest of the royal family. And there it is, the funny looking unicorn. It's actually a unicorn, you can't tell. If you pause the video and have a close look, you'll see the horn on its head. This was all in the King's Domain, by the way. We were heading on our way to the Botanic Gardens. This was all in the King's Domain. In the Botanical Gardens, that's the Rose Pavilion, Pergola, something, I don't know. That's the oak tree lawn. I love oak trees. I'm not sure what those flowers are called, but they look like snow. And that was a cute little flower. I cannot remember what these flowers are called. I wish I could. We decided to walk out of the Botanical Gardens over to the War Memorial. It is built on, or rather based on, an old ancient tomb design, I think, from Mesopotamia. I apologize if I can't pronounce that right. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. There's a good view of Melbourne. Again, I think it's based on the ancient tomb, but I'll have to check it. I'll have to have another look at my books and check to see if I'm correct. I think I am. Back in the Botanical Gardens, more oak trees. All variations of oak trees. I think it was called the oak lawn. Could have spent all day there. I wish I had brought a picnic basket. I think they were camellias, I think. Not sure. It was like a little fairy tale glen. That was quite a pretty tree. It was bright yellow. That was actually quite a big tree. I took a lot of photos of it. That was at the very top of the Botanic Gardens. It's up on a hill. There was the rose garden. We just missed the peak of the blooms and we caught the last few roses. But what we did find, there was quite a few pretty roses, as you can see. There was a few buds left, quite a few decaying flowers, a few full roses, a few buds, a lot of decaying flowers. It's quite pretty though. I really liked it. I swear that I took that same picture triple times. I probably did. That's a cute rose. They're cute roses and rosebuds. Coming up is probably not this one, but the best picture of a rose I've ever taken. There's the money shot. That's the best photo of a rose I have ever taken. And that was some little blue flower. Wasn't sure what that is, what it's called. I'm not sure what that tree is called either, but it was really pretty and covered in pink flowers. And there's some blue, tiny blue flowers. And that's a cycad. It's a plant dinosaurs used to eat, I think. I think those might be azaleas or something, quite pretty. I'm not sure. Now out of the King's Domain and we headed back over to the sea. That magpie was looking around on the ground, I'm not sure what for. I can't remember what that building is, but it was kind of cool. It looked like it had scales. And that's the Grand Hotel Windsor. It's quite elegant. And that's a Harry Potter and the Cursed Child play building. Did you know that in this side the city limits, in Melbourne, you can get free transport on the trams? I had no idea until the end of the second last day there. I had no idea. I'd been walking all over the city and I could have just hopped on the trams and gone around for free. And that's the I can't remember, Carlton Gardens and the, I cannot remember it right now, but there were leaves everywhere. I loved the leaves. I love kicking leaves, and if there had been a pile of leaves, I would have jumped in them. Picture of me with leaves and trees and I think it's the Treasury Building, not the Treasury Building. Treasury Gardens, and what's it called? The Exhibition Building or something?
Royal Exhibition Building.
Ah, yes, thanks. Royal Exhibition Building. It's quite ornate.
And Carlton Gardens.
Yeah, and Carlton Gardens. Those trees remind me of the Snow White trees. They're really cool and they're dark. And that's the building where Hamilton's being held. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a play or anything like that when we were down there. And that is the final morning. We were heading back to the tram station, or rather Southern Cross station. And they had all these huge giant posters for the Batman exhibit. It was quite cool. Well, not the Batman exhibit, that's at Movie World. The what is it, the Batman movie? And that's one of the last photos I took on the bus. It was quite packed actually. Actually, the bus going the bus going into Melbourne it was really packed. Like, people were literally, you know how like nowadays you have like one seat per person. They were all like, oh, sorry, can I sit down? Thanks. It was like you sit wherever you can. It wasn't like how you usually have one person per seat. It was everyone cram in as many as you can. And they were doing road works on the terminals too at that time. So I had to walk a little way. And that's, I think, the international terminal. And bye-bye, Melbourne. See you next time. Our plane was delayed a little bit. I think that I remember some people, they were like really delayed on a Sydney flight before us. And they were like, okay, the boarding gate's closing. We're about to take your bags off if you don't turn up at the gate. Well, they didn't say that, but you could see that was what they were thinking they wanted to say. And the lady ran up to them and she's running up to them and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was such a long walk. Yeah, you can look out the windows, lady, and you can actually see it's quite a long walk. You can look on a map and it's quite a long walk. Anyway, there were clouds and lots of clouds. And, they actually went straight over the SeaWorld. And there's a bit of, not sure where that is, but it's on the Gold Coast. That might actually be the racetrack. Actually, it is. And that is, I know that is Palm Beach. Definitely got to be Palm Beach. And there's the soccer field. And here we are back on the runway back home. It was quite a rough landing actually. Huh? Whoops, those pictures must have got in the wrong spot. Anyway, it was quite a rough landing. But anyway, back on the Gold Coast. See you next time, guys.